to redemption on the other side. We're standing and we're burning bright. Alright, 'cause we are timeless. Our future knows not your pain. Our past knows only victory. So we still remain. To redemption on the other side. We're standing and we're burning bright. Alright, 'cause we are timeless. Our future knows not your pain. Our past knows only victory. So we still remain. There's no medicine for what you put in. I don't know, and I don't know why, but I let it in. For that I repent, and I don't know, and I don't know why. Like I was saved from the shit that you said. Wish I could change the words that you said. And there's no medicine, there's no medicine. Your words crawling to my ears tonight. I'm crawling hypnotized by parasitic lies. I'm crawling in.
Hello, everybody. After a bit of an extended recess, class is now in session. A couple of latecomers, we'll be sending them to the dean later, but for now, we're actually getting into this game. Per usual, I have my teacher's assistant with me here, Mr. TDS. How you feeling tonight, man?
I'm ready. I'm ready for some games.
Yeah.
After we had some, to name it like that, kids playing too long in recess and taking their time to get into the games. We have a game potentially on hand, and it's going to be really interesting from both teams.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on the playoff implications by Earth, but the Monkeys need to get the win to ensure playoffs. So it's going to be interesting for them, seeing what they can do. They are playing with quite a few subs, and they will lose, if I'm not wrong, the 5 bands, or
Yeah.
yeah, just compare the 5 bands. So they're playing in an uphill battle, but if they can pull it off, that'll be insane.
Yeah, absolutely. At least those 5 bands, if I'm not mistaken, they also technically had to forfeit their first game. So
Yep.
it is absolutely going to be an uphill battle. Urgottem Reform, it only needs to win one game tonight, and they get themselves the win over the series. So it's going to be tough. But bands are picking bands already on the way. So let's just switch on over to that and take a look as to what's going down here. Now, already we're seeing the first 3 bands that came out from Urgottem Reform, the Vex, the Pike, and the Shyvana. No surprise there are a lot of those being
Yep.
targeted over to the side of literal monkey grass. Anything surprising you though so far?
I'm kind of interested in the Shyvana because
Hmm.
it's not a champion that we typically see, but I feel like it's trying to rise up a little bit more in top lane.
Yeah.
And I feel like it can also be a champion that if your team can play around it in your jungle and top lane as well, then a flex potential may come in. So it's an interesting band to see, but I can kind of see the logic behind if there's someone that can really play it. Now, immediately jumping to pick and bands into picks, we have the Jinx on one side. To me, the best AD carry in the game. She's so strong. She's
Mm.
so impactful. Even though she, if I'm not wrong, she got nerfed or she's going to get nerfed from the B patch notes. I've yet to see how much it's going to change the Jinx, but I still feel like Jinx is so strong, and that's why I like the Caitlyn Morgana pick. Caitlyn Morgana is a bot lane that will try and pressure, will try and put a lot onto the Jinx, a lot of just, and don't allow for her to farm and do what Jinx likes to do, which is what I really like from the Caitlyn Morgana. And if you can get much more power down there to just dive Jinx if possible, then it just becomes a living hell for the Jinx. And I feel like that would be great to see from the side of Urgottem. Then the picks, it's Lydia against Lee Sin, and Lydia is in an interesting spot where even though she's not a bot jungler, against current meta junglers in the Lee Sin, the Xin Zhao, the Trundle, she may find some problems because those are junglers that if you fight against them, they can probably kill you, as the Lilia. So it's a little bit tricky to play with the Lilia, but if you get towards the later stages, the sleep becomes really impactful if you have engaged, and it's so easy for her to follow up on that engage because of the sleep and the burn. And I feel like you just get so much value out of the Lilia if you can play correctly. Already setting up for a really late game composition if you look at it from the side of the Monkeys, with the Jinx and the Lilia coming in for later fights.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say I kind of feel like we're seeing almost like an absolutely polar opposite for both teams here, right? You got Urgottem Reformed, who has here the Caitlyn, Morgana, and Lee Sin, all very kind of early game hard hitters in comparison to a Monkeys who have, like you were saying, right, the Jinx and the Lilia, who are gonna need a little bit of time to kind of get into their Jinx. Obviously, not as long as the Lilia, as really with just one reset she can start wreaking havoc. But and even okay, the Vanguard coming out. That's a little bit of a change there. That's always nice to see a bit more the infinite
Yep.
scaling potential coming out from them.
And I love the Veigar pick here because one of the things that you are really scared about with the composition from the Monkeys is the late game potential, but also the late game team fights that will occur. And Veigar is a master at denying the engages from being really powerful. Like, you have the Morgana obviously with the Black Shield, but she just
Yeah.
denies one. With the Veigar, you can deny Nautilus and Lilia from ever being able to follow fully into the backline with just the Event Horizon. And your picks become even much more powerful because if you hit Morgana Bind, then it's easy for the Veigar to follow up. If you hit the Event Horizon, then it's easy for the Morgana to follow up. And I feel like it's just a combo that you can play around really well. From the side of the Monkeys, this is a standard front to back composition if they end up picking the Ornn, which I feel like would be the better overall pick to just round out the composition. And I feel like with what they are given right now, with the bans taken away from them and the players that are not their starting roster players, I feel like playing a composition like this is going to be much better for them. Just try and make something easy with what they have been given. On the other side, the Camille getting picked, I'm interested in seeing how we see this Camille impacting, because she will have to put a lot of pressure on the sideline. She has to threaten solo kills sometimes, and she's going to need to get really good flanks to get the most value out of her. Because if she just goes in from the front, it's going to be quite hard for her to get a full value out of the Camille, even if you have Hextech Ultimatum and the hookshot.
Yeah, absolutely. So overall, it's kind of it's looking to me, maybe I'm wrong here, but it's looking to me more like it seems Urgottem Reformed is really going to try and kind of stomp things out when it comes to the Monkeys here in this early game, right? Try and get the Caitlyn or the Lee Sin ahead, and then the Veigar is more of a kind of like a fallback insurance, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
If things don't really work out in that early game, we can be like, okay, we'll sit back, we chill, we wait for the Veigar to scale up, we wait for the Camille to do a lot more damage, and then they're safe on all fronts.
Yeah, I feel like with that in mind, you can kind of see what Urgottem does really want to try and play around with, right? The thing that I'm kind of scared of is that with what Urgottem also has dropped it for them, you can kind of see the idea that it's going to be the Camille on one side and then the four-man squad on the other, right? Like, you're drafting a kind of a strong four-man so that they can survive by themselves, and the Camille be a split pusher slash just bruiser on backline threatening duty. That's about it. That's how I see this Camille. Because if you try to play her normally or in a 5-5 setting, it's going to be much difficult for her to be able to excel the Ornn in comparison. And I feel like from the Monkeys, they have really nice long engage thanks to this Ornn. Try and force something bad to happen, and if they are able to execute this four-man squad, which I think was strongly built around to survive as a four-man unit, may find some places where it's difficult for them. I would have liked this composition from Urgottem even more if they had a tanky champion in the jungle. Sejuani would be a great choice because she not only has disengage, but she can withstand if someone wants to go in for the fight. Like, she can be the mid shield in front of some of these champions, and you then can pick the Camille much more easily. It's not like you need the Lee Sin to try and create early game impact because you already have a Caitlyn Morgana that will control a lot of the early game. So it's like you can get it much better with a tankier Sejuani from the jungle. But overall, I still feel like the idea from Urgottem would gravitate around the four-man squad and then the Camille, and then Monkeys just playing the typical 5-5 front to back 5-5 composition.
So we think we're maybe be seeing the Gorge maybe coming out here from the Lee Sin. That way they have something that's a bit more kind of tanky, right? Sustain.
Yeah, I feel like that would be the best way for him to survive longer. I could potentially see even the Strike Breaker, just because you do get this low and Lee Sin has enough mobility that he can apply it, disengage, and allow for the rest of the teams to get the engage. Even though I feel like it's not the most ideal of builds for Lee Sin, you can still kind of see value in it. I still think that it's going to be Gold Drinker Lee Sin though.
Yeah, absolutely. And the most important part, I think the gambling just ended. I was gonna say the most important part is when the points are on the line, but just from what you're seeing right now from the team comps, who are you favoring with this one? What do you think?
I like Monkey's composition because I feel like the ease to execute it's quite high. But I have to take the other factors into account, which is not only the mental factor with the bans taken away and you're playing with players that are not typically there, but also the fact that they are essentially playing for playoffs. Their playoffs life is on the line to try and get there in this game. And I feel like with all those things collapsing on top of the side of the Monkeys, I feel like Urgottem has a much easier time, much more leeway because they already have a one-game victory. And as long as they are able to execute for the first 15 minutes, they should be able to pull off this game. So I think that I would take the side of Urgottem if I'm honest.
Yeah, I feel a lot of things being stacked here onto the monkeys, kind of
Yeah.
really weighing them down. Honestly wouldn't be surprised if maybe from Organim Reformed we see like an instant kind of like level one invade, right? Try and
Yeah.
really just shatter the mental from the monkeys here. Since as you were saying, right, they need to win this to get into playoffs. They don't have any bans. They have to play with a bunch of subs as well. So the communication might not be as premium as it normally would be, but we will really have to see. Only time can tell. And I gotta say, I am just a little bit worried for the side of monkeys here that if they don't get some, if they get stomped out early by this four-man room we were talking about, then there's just really no universe where they come back. Sure, they have
Yeah.
Ornn and Nautilus to kind of be their, like, like you're saying, front to back sort of composition, but then you've got the Victor, the Lily, and the Jinx who kind of need that extra time to really kind of come online and get into the game. While on the side of Urgottem Reformed, we have, like we were talking about, right, the Caitlyn, Morgana dealing so much damage, Camille as well, and then the Lee Sin. I mean, he's known for that early game kind of power that he has.
Yeah. It's much difficult when you think in a vacuum, not because it's not impossible to try and pull it off in the later stage of the game,
Yeah.
but because you really have less room of error, less room for error when you play these kinds of compositions. Like I think that as in the same vein as you have windows of opportunity that are probably much better the longer the game goes on, you also have less windows of error the earlier the game. If you make a mistake early on, it becomes difficult for you to try and keep on surviving. And that's why I feel like the Lee Sin comes in there to try and punish the early game as much as possible. And then when it comes into the mid and late game, he's not, even though he's not going to be the best of champions, he has enough of a lead that it's not going to matter. And that's kind of how I feel with their god. And why I also feel like they want to make this kind of composition work in this game, because it feels like the game where they can find the most overall value with those kinds of games. So for
Mm.
example, just making the most in the first 15 minutes, you get a lead, and then you can begin just stomping thanks to the not only mental advantage, but just the composition that you have that can be really, really aggressive and get the most out of it. Like this essentially this is a 4-1 composition, but it
Mhm.
also works really well as a pick composition when you think about it with the Morgana Q and the Event Horizon, right? So
Yeah.
it's like you can just, if you're ahead, you control the map, you control vision, you just get picks, you win the game even harder, because there's no way for them to contest into blind spots without going eating one of those stones and dying.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious what you think here with Warhead on the Lilia, right? Now we're saying this
Yeah.
is like more of a jungler who might struggle a little bit into these more early game champions. Do you feel that maybe he's better off just playing it safe and just kind of farming up, not worrying too much about lanes? Or do you think we're going to be seeing him maybe ganking the bot or the mid lane a lot, trying to get some kind of a lead ahead? That way the rest of the team can just play safe.
For Lilia, and not only for Warhead, yeah, in the overall context of the Lilia, like she's a jungler that I value as the Hecarim, in the sense that you really want to get your level 6 as soon as possible.
Hmm.
If you reach the level 6, you kind of become an actual, not an actual jungler, but your value as a jungler just catapult, yeah, flies over the sky so quickly that you become another different menace in a sense. So I feel
Hmm.
like you do have to focus much more on reaching that level 6 before trying to think about lanes. The only way that I can see Lydia trying to focus lanes or prioritize a particular lane is if they are getting stumped or if they are in a bad spot. Like if
Hmm.
you have to, the lane has to really be in need of the jungler to come by for the Lydia to have to be forced into that spot. Because if not, I feel like Lydia should just focus on farming and try and get free kills. Like that's about the only way that I can see the Lydia not prioritizing the farm.
Yeah, and I feel like on the side of Urgottem Reformed itself, T1 Lucifer, right, on this Lee Sin, the only plat player there in their team, all eyes are going to be shifted somewhat on him, right? They're definitely going to be looking for him
The
to kind of
carry.
call the shots, exactly, the carry, right? Do you think we're going to be seeing him kind of going in for these sort of invades, maybe even early on, trying to just crush Warhead out of his own jungle? Or do you think we see him just kind of take a step back at first and kind of see which lane he can get into? Because like we were saying, right, a lot of early game champs, so we're probably going to see T1 trying to get these early ganks off as well.
I would love for him to get in the inside of the enemy jungle and
Mhm.
destroy the Lydia as hard as possible. Because even though I think that he has a lot of room in the bot lane thanks to the Kaylin Morgana push, they will just control most of what happens down there. The problem
Mhm.
is that without a tank champion in either position, dives become riskier, right? So
That's true.
if the lane is always super pushed, it's hard for to look for a gang. You're forced into a dive. And then without a tank there, it's unless the champions are super low that you can just go in and get a kill immediately. it becomes riskier, and it's a lead that you really don't want to give away. So I feel like going to the enemy jungle will work out really, really nicely. The only problem
Mm,
that I see with that as well is the fact that you probably are winning bot, you probably are winning mid top instead of the push, but
mm,
mid lane is going to be much more contested. If the Veigar has the push, I can see Lee Sin just trying to get into Lydia as much as possible. But if
mm,
not, it becomes a little bit harder because priority will always fall into the Victor, and even if either of the side lanes is losing, they can respond much more quickly or they can respond much more quickly than the mid laner from the
mm.
enemy. Yeah. So it's kind of a tough situation in that regard. But if not, I feel like T1 Lucifer should just try and focus on the Lydia and a little bit on the lanes that he can get an easy kill as well. Or
Yeah.
top lane.
Okay. Well, overall, we've seen it on paper, but we'll have to wait to see in execution. And there's only one way to do that, and that's to get onto the Rift itself. So we'll throw it to a short break. And then when we're back, we will be on the Rift for, I was going to say game one, but it's technically game
Yeah.
two. And a whole lot of pressure is stacked
Exactly.
against Monkeys. So you're going to want to see this. Stick around.
There's no medicine for what you put in. I don't know, and I don't know why, but I let it in. For that I repent, and I don't know, and I don't know why. Like I was saved from the shit that you said. Wish I could change the words that you said. And there's no medicine, there's no medicine. Your words crawl into my ears tonight. I'm crawling inside. Hypnotized by parasitic lies. I'm crawling inside. I'm crawling inside. I'm crawling inside. Now here we go, you're dedicated. You're a celebrate. When you break me right down, you're killing me, premeditated. I'm devastated. Leave me on the ground. Like I was saved from the shit that you said. Wish I could change the words that you said. There's no medicine, there's no medicine. Your words crawl into my ears tonight. I'm crawling inside. Hypnotized by parasitic lies. I'm crawling inside. I'm crawling inside. I'm crawling inside. Playing mind games, manipulating me, operating these surgical eyes. Used to date me, drunk on a memory, then it all fades. And I read you only for what I don't know. Why'd you whisper nothing when you need something? But you wanna stay for what I don't know why. But then your words crawl into my ears tonight. I'm crawling inside. Hypnotized by parasitic lies. I'm crawling inside. I'm crawling inside. I'm crawling inside.
ladies and gentlemen. We are on the Rift. The first game of the night is underway. Like we were saying before, pressure is going to be at an all-time high tonight for Monkeys as they have a bit of an uphill battle to fight. They need to win not only this game, but the next game back to back if they do not want to be eliminated and lose their spot in the playoffs. Looking
Yep.
at the summoners, right, the ruins, anything particular we want to talk about, or is this all pretty standard for the mill?
Wait, I just saw something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Morgana
Oh
with
no.
Dark Harvest. Oh wait.
No, Sir Grinds. No, 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 no. He was
Oh,
dancing. He was dancing. You're being
the
toxic.
second
Oh,
one.
wait, did the trap? Did he misplace the trap? Oh, come on.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine.
No, I mean, listen. Okay, we need to talk about this. This is a rowdy class, right? This is sophomore, right? A lot of energy, a lot of young kids, but listen, that was just so I mean, she was dancing. You can't do that to Sir Grinds, bro. Like, that's rude, but gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. That's gonna be first blood going into the hands of Ultro. And already these early game champs are looking to dominate the early game.
Yeah, and this is my time to question you. Does that tilt you if it happens to you?
Dude, are you kidding me? I would just, dude, I might just DC right after that, dude.
That's
There
the
is
point
a
where I get out of this game.
Yeah. No, there is an unspoken rule. If you start dancing, all right, and the other person's doing it too, listen, man, you got it. Just respect the dance. Have a good time. You can go at each other's throats when you get into the lane. Come on. We're all just human.
Yeah, that's true. But the sad part is that Sir Grinds cannot simply decide in this particular game. So unlucky for him, I guess. But great first blood. I really liked how they played it.
That
And
was
it was
big,
so
yeah.
nicely timed by by the bot lane of the side of Urgottem, right? Because it was
Yeah.
the Caitlyn waiting for in place, and then the Morgana getting the stun thanks to the vision that she got. The only thing that I can kind of question is the trap's placement, not
trap,
because it was
yeah.
bad, because she gets the first trap down. The problem is that then she wanted to put a second one down, and the second one was a little bit delayed. I think it's because you do have a little bit of a delay between traps.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Oh, that hook did land,
Nice
but the
hit.
black shield comes out. A little bit of trade going down. But yeah, what were you saying?
yeah, just to end it, that there's a little bit of a delay with the trap sometimes. So I feel like that was one of the main reasons why we see the second trap down, but it didn't stun the Jinx. At the end, it does force the flash and the ignite out of the Morgana, but great play down there. And I kind of feel like the Jinx probably could have blown the what is called the cleanse, since it's not like it's such a
Yeah.
huge cooldown. And if you can play it with your Nautilus correctly, you don't necessarily need to get hit by the binds, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not that big of a cooldown. It's pretty damn big to get first blood on over to this bot lane. So a little surprised that that didn't instantly come out, but is what it is. We'll have to see if Sir Grinds can somehow find a way to recover from that. Is able to poke out quite well here with the rocket launcher. So who knows? They might be able to find themselves an opening. But it's just such an issue with Ultra having that black shield, just able to shut down any real engage that comes out. Like, sure, Best Buy supports hook might land, but you can't really follow up with the stun. You can't follow up with the chompers because of that black shield if she places it correctly.
Yeah, and this is kind of the place where you sometimes tend to see, instead of the Nautilus, be the Leona. Oh wait,
Oh, there's that
Oh,
early game
nice.
gate we were talking about. Ignite coming out with a sonic wave. Not quite gonna find the mark though, but gonna get them considerably low. But Wunda World in this mid lane, dropping the field, doing quite a bit of damage, but needs to be careful. Minions, those minions, they hit hard. But we do see Warhead actually grabbing. Oh, wait. No, T1 Lucifer is on the way. Event Horizon gets dropped.
he
The
got
stun
hit.
does connect. This might just be the end for Wunda World if
Oh.
you're not careful. Flash comes out looking to follow up on him. T1 Lucifer is there.
Flash in.
And there's nowhere. Oh, wanted that
Oh.
kill, was dedicated, but your dedication did not pay off. And instead, that kill goes into the hands of T1 Lucifer.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, I feel like as Wonderworld, you cannot be that aggressive with the flasher because
Yeah.
the moment that the sun came down, you saw the Lee Sin. It's not like the Lee Sin came in from a blind spot or anything like that. Like, you saw the Lee Sin after the sun. So you have to play around that knowledge, because if you flash in when you already blew everything previously and you don't get the kill, you're essentially dead mid. And we saw what happened. He dies, he blows the flash, and now he's going to become an easier target for the for the Lee Sin and the Veigar. later on if he tries to push too much, which he does. Oh,
Yeah,
ganked up.
indeed. Yep, meanwhile, that top lane ball is lap. Needs to go ahead and dash away, but it doesn't matter. Gonna get hit by the hook shot by El Dragon, doing so much damage. So much true damage coming out. Running for his life, but I don't think it's gonna matter. Gets slowed down. But No World is here on his way. Can he drop down the gravitational field to help him out? No, he cannot. And down goes ball slap. And just like that, it's exactly what we were talking about, right? T1 looking for those early ganks, and he finds them over and over and over again. Already 3-0, just 5 minutes in. Things are looking incredibly shaky for the Monkeys right now.
Yeah, and it's in positions that we also did kind of expect, right? Like, because even though the bot lane was going to get the push and have a lot of control, like, it's not easy to gank this side of a bot lane into the turret range, right? Because it's riskier. So he's looking for places where he does have control, but it's not hard to execute those ganks. And I feel like the first one into the mid lane wasn't a bad idea. If the Veigar had a little bit more health, they probably can get those kills without forcing out the flash on the Veigar and on the Lee Sin. But on top lane, it was a much easier task to do. We saw previously how they blew the flash on the Urn, so the execution for the second gank was going to work out even better. And Camilo has yet to go by.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see at the very least Warhead, right? We were talking about how most likely really only going to be looking for those free kills, and if nothing is available, just power farming his way up to level 6. Does have that level advantage over T1 Lucifer at the moment, and is going to get his first back, grabbing himself that lost chapter. Should be pretty close to level 6 as well. So at least in some regard, the Monkeys have something going their way.
Yeah, they need to play around this Lilia power spike at the level 6. I feel particularly she can look towards bot lane, because even if you have Black Shield, you can just stop one of the sleeps, right? It's one of the two is going to go through, and I feel like that is going to be one of the better places to look for in the bot to gank as a Lilia in the bot lane, especially because not only you're level 6, but as a jungler, it's also one of the best places for setup, because typically supports have setup for you.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see the double ward going down here on this dragon. T1 Lucifer has been spotted at Warhead, not quite at that level 6 yet, but incredibly close. Meanwhile, Window World in this mid lane, trapped there. Not a lot coming out of it, just a little bit of trading. Hook shot going in here, actually using the... I didn't even know you can use the pillar like that. That's actually kind of big brain.
Yeah, it's a nice interaction to see, but El Dragon using the second part of the Q onto a minion, you do lose quite a bit of damage if you fail like that, so probably not the most ideal things to see. But still, it's not like it's going to punish him as much as other things could probably have, although it's an Urn. We do need to keep that in mind.
Yeah, both fields here coming out. Oh, no, he misses the laser when No World trying his best. But now T1 Lucifer is here once again. Doesn't have that ultimate. Won't be able to kick him into the mid lane there. So just do a little bit of damage. Chaos Storm did come out onto not respectable, but it's not quite going to do enough damage.
Yeah, and that's a place where I'm kind of surprised to see the stun from the Veigar coming in like that, because if you're able to hold it a little bit longer, your threatening potential is much higher. Like, you really don't need it as the Veigar to threaten the Victor, as much as the Victor, even though he doesn't need it either, if he throws down the gravity field, Lee Sin will have an easier time with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we do see Warhead has hit that level 6, so we might be seeing some ganks incoming sooner than later. Yeah, that's really the question, right? That's what I was going to ask you, actually, but I guess we're both at a loss there at the moment. However, T1 Lucifer has slowly began caught up with the XP, also hitting that level 6, looking to maybe actually gank here on ball side, who doesn't have vision in this word. Indeed, no flash, and there comes the Hextech ultimate. I'm going to drop it down with the Ignite. Unstoppable, but it doesn't matter. You are done. Good night and goodbye, T1 Lucifer. Grabbing himself that kill. Bit of an overkill, not gonna lie, to use the ult and everything, but hey, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, it's just such an easy execution. Easy to execute again. R dead. That's it.
Exactly.
And I like it. I like those kinds of combos. Ooh.
Okay. Hook does go wide.
Yeah, I like those kind of combos going back into top lane, because when it's against those kind of champions that will survive longer, the easier it is to execute, the easier it is to get the kill. And even though it's double AP on the top lane, which means that Ornn should be able to itemize against it, when it's so easy to execute, it doesn't matter that much.
Oh, death charge coming out, but there's that Black Shield again. Spell immune, just immune against everything right now. That's an ultimate down for Best Buy support.
They really want that pink ward.
Yeah, they really want that pink ward, and they're about to pay the price for it. I don't know if that was the move that Bindings won't quite hit. Sir Grind does have that full lethal tempo stack, so is able to trade somewhat. Best Buy support just barely getting out with his life. Sir Grinds might even look to find something here if he can get him low enough. Oh, that was close. Ace in the hole did come out. Sir Grinds with the dodge, the block, not the dodge. That would have been fatal if he dodged it, actually.
Yeah, if
coming out with the
dodge,
Yeah.
Eh,
Oh, Chaos Storm coming out meanwhile in that mid lane, though not respectable. Really bad
losing
spot.
everything.
Can't quite
He has
outrun it.
flash.
He's popped everything, and he gets popped himself. Wunda World
Oh.
grabbing himself the first kill for the Monkeys. And now we see Warhead in this bot lane. Gonna get that double sleep now. They are drowsy.
Oh
Actually dropped the flash on the wrong person.
no!
Gonna get that kill. Very nicely done. The Super Mega Death Rocket getting him nice and low. And Warhead picking up the double kill. The smite comes out. Nowhere for Ultra to go. Already used the black shield. And he's got that black and white screen.
Yeah, and that was the interaction that we were waiting to see from the Lydia in the bottom because we talked about this. Black Shield, great to stop and engage, but you can stop one, not two. So it's so easy for the Lydia to pull up. You get the kill down on the two members, and because of a misplay by Ultra. Because if Ultra Black Shields the Caitlyn, more than likely you don't lose that. You don't lose the Caitlyn. Like she still has flash. Ultra didn't have flash, which means that if she gets hit, she's dead. I don't think you should try and steal this.
Yeah, I don't
it's
know.
a
If
Cloud
that's a
Drake.
move. Yeah, T1 Lucifer, a bit of a bad spot. Gonna use that blast almost likely to get over the wall. Will indeed, but Best Buy support is here. But you might have just missed that. Predator gets popped from the Veigar, stuck in the event horizon, and you are done for this world. Goodbye, good night. Best Buy support will fall.
Yeah, and by a great collapse by the side of the Urgottem team. This is one of the things that we talked about as well. You have CC, if they walked in blindly, they are going to get stuck and die. It doesn't even matter if it's the Ornn or the Nautilus. You have enough CC to lock them in place. And one of the great things that you have is the Veigar, because even if it's a tank, he deals percentage damage to that tank. So later on, he's going to be able to destroy that Ornn, even if he survives by the cracking his teeth. I'm trying to think of the actual phrase, but it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, and there they go. First turret will go down 11.5 minutes and really looking to solidify this lead in the bot lane here, trying to get as much money into Blue Lake and Ultra as possible.
Which I like. I think that that's the correct idea because I think everyone knows about the power trap that Caitlyn always fronts, right? The fact that she's going to get nice sidestep.
Oh, the hook shot misses actually, and with that, the Forge God has been called. Gonna use Hextech Ultimate, but you used it too early and will not dodge the ultimate and ball slap. Gonna give him the 1-2 hammer to the head, and yeah, El Dragon is no more.
Yep, disrespect against an Ornn is something that you paid quite heavily with your life in this time around. It's Ornn, you have to respect him. And really nicely played by Bolzat, like you're pointing out, waiting until the last second to make use of the second part of the R. Really nicely done. Ooh, okay, he's fine.
Yeah, Chaos Storm did come out once again on not respectable, but it will not kill him to say the least. Is able to waddle on away from that with his little tiny stubby legs.
Yep, he's not as small, okay? we have to keep in mind that he says that he's not as small.
That's true. That's true. The Dark Overlord himself said he's not as small, so it is what it is. But that being said, it's going to be a bit more chill time now, as both objectives are going to take another around 2 minutes to respawn. And so overall, what do you think is the game plan right now for Monkeys?
Monkeys, I feel, are doing a nice job not allowing the lead to go overboard, because reminder that they were 3-0, I feel, at 8 minutes, so they were able to come back into a nice spot thanks to some of the ganks they pulled up.
Yep, speaking of that, though, they might lose if they're not careful. Warhead and Ball Slap are separated at the moment, and T1 and El Dragon are looking to run him down. That's that double ball right there. There's nothing they can do. They're not gonna be able to follow up.
Yeah, as soon as that hits, you have to be careful, because even though, like, the only way that you do proc that as the Lydia is if the Ornn ultimate is up, but you don't have control in mid lane either. So if you get flipped, there's a good chance that maybe if you don't respect Lydia, you can get committed on by the Victor and the Ornn and you die. So they need to respect that, like you're pointing out. Now, speaking a little bit with the question that you previously asked me, what Monkeys needed to do, I feel like that is a good showing of what they need to do. Be ready to respond to Lee Sin. If they can stop him from acting, that's great. They don't need to get a kill. They just need to stop action from happening. Although Ball Slap.
Oh, no, Ball Slap getting ulted away from his third Hextech Ultimate. And once again, the double RR combo. Nothing you can do. Even flashes, but will not get away. You press R again. And then next thing you know, Ball Slap is gone.
This is one of those times that I hope that the R button would be the D instead, so that we can say the death combo. But yeah, I don't have words that. Whoa! What?
That was a crazy hook, like max range. That was insane.
That is the kind of hooks that makes me question hitboxes in League.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I'm questioning whether or not Warhead's HP is about to drop. Not respectable is asleep.
oh,
Black Shield does get
oh,
dropped,
he
but
got
the
it.
binding does connect, followed by the
Yeah.
ace in the hole, and it doesn't even need to be used because the Primordial Burst will finish him off. The Super Mega Death Rocket did come through, but also blocking it like a champ.
Like a true support. That
Yeah.
those are the kinds of supports that I like. The ones that take the damage for you and don't allow you to get killed. That those are my kinds of supports. But great pick. Once again, even in a situation where it looked like potentially the Lydia could trade, it's just an easy pick. You have Ultra coming in with the bind, and even though the CC from the Veigar doesn't hit, Ultra does, and it's an easy kill to get after that. Great collapse. They are getting ready for the dragon spawning in 20 seconds, although that is a lot of damage with 2 Blue Lake. But
Yeah.
it's fine. I think that they can just go for the drop.
Yeah,
Blue
Blue Lake
Lake,
needs to be
please.
careful. Yeah, needs to be careful here. Don't
Oh.
want to get too low before the dragon spawns. However, Window World is about to be low as well. The hook does come
Oh,
out. Death
no.
charges, no Black Shield for you this time. Best Buy will pick up that kill. Window World
Kick.
needs to be careful. The
Oh.
kick! No way! He kicks Best Buy World straight into Window World, and it's going to take him out. Best Buy support, not Best Buy World. That would be something cool to go to as well. But that was such a beautiful kick. That is one of the rare times you actually see that damage that comes out from it being utilized so efficiently.
Yeah, and I feel like most of the times when we see the kick, the value is the knockup, right? The
Yeah,
knockup that you get
exactly.
after the effect. But the damage that it does deal, it's not something to ignore sometimes. And I feel like it was so greatly utilized there by the Lee Sin. Really nice play. They probably could have gotten even more if El Dragon followed up onto the bind by Altro, but beggars can be choosers, right? You get the kill, the counter kill, you're able to get the dragon, so you're put into a really nice spot anyway in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking at the items as well right now, the entirety of Urgottem Reformed, except for Ultra, already have their mythic items here. And looking at that, we do see, as we were expecting, right, the Gore Drinker is coming out from T1 Lucifer, so he can be a bit more of that kind of, meat shield tank that they are going to need. The Divine coming out as well from El Dragon, going to allow him to sustain a lot, do a whole lot of damage. And so things are looking bleak for the Monkeys. However, they have been holding on quite well, but they just really need to find that opening.
Yeah, it's still we're in at 16 minutes, which means that they have been doing a nice job to not fall farther and farther behind. It's 4K, but as long as it doesn't escalate even higher from here, although it looks like a potential die. Okay, no, it's fine. As long as it doesn't escalate from here, then they can try and bite themselves until minute 30, where you get 2 items with Jinx, 2 items with Victor, and your team fighting suddenly looks much better. At this point, they cannot contest. It's so hard, but it's not to a spot where they cannot try and come back yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, also just looking at the gold differences itself, surprisingly, you look at the farm, right? You would think for sure that the farm numbers would be way more in the favor of Urgottem Reform, but actually, when you look at it, the majority of farm is actually going into the hands of Monkeys here. Really, the only difference from this gold actually being a large percentage of the gold actually being an ultra in comparison to Best Buy support, with about a 1k up on him. Same with T1 Lucifer, who's got 1k up on Warhead. And so overall, gold wise, it also reflects in the items that they're really not too there's not that big of a gap just yet.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing that you do get in some of these matchups, and why I was kind of scared with the mid lane matchup as well, because even though Veigar has some windows to try and play around it, like Victor is Victor. As soon as he gets that first upgrade, and even before that, he does have control over the wave. So he was bound to be able to get ahead of the Veigar and just keep himself into the game. What I'm more surprised is in bot lane. The Jinx has done such a marvelous job keeping herself up in form. She's ahead of the Caitlyn, not even keeping herself in form. She's ahead of the Caitlyn, and I feel like that has to do. Oh wait, okay.
Well, he's all coming up, but the Forge God is being called, and then Black Shield will get dropped. And unfortunately, it's just gonna be spell immune. That is
Disengage.
that's a huge ultimate actually out though for the sides of Monkeys here. So now Urgottem are definitely gonna be looking for a opportunity here to kind of collapse onto them.
I'm surprised they didn't go for Best Buy support, especially when he was kind of in the push, but respecting, I'm fine with that. The thing is that now the important cooldowns are down. The Ornn ultimate is really important to try and force some of the team fights. So the fact that it's down may be a window of opportunity that Urgottem looks for. Oh, T1 Lucifer.
Oh god. Can you cast? I have a cough.
T1 Lucifer getting a... Oh, okay, the Super Mega Death Rocket coming in. He gets hit and he's dead. Okay, give the kill to the Jinx. She used Gale Force even. Oh,
Yo, okay, TDS with the play-by-play. I like it, dude. We might have to do this more often. Thank you. Yep,
I hope not.
I took a water and it almost killed me there. I was about to get shut down. But yeah, overall, right, that's exactly what they need to be doing, right? They find
Yeah,
T1 in this very vulnerable position. They collapse. They grab the kill.
respectable.
Yep, and Primordial Burst doing so much damage to Wunderworld, but he will survive by the skin of his teeth, by the metal of his armor. TP coming out, but no, sir, it's gonna be denied. And just like they did to T1, they give not respectable the T1 treatment.
Yeah, cute attempt, but it was going to be so hard to pull up. But I got a question not respectable there. Being so far ahead when you know that T1 Lucifer just died by being in the river in such a bad spot, you yourself stay in place and then get yourself killed. It's such a bad
Yeah,
idea. Oh well, Dragon.
absolutely. Hextech Ultimata does come out. Dragon, though, the turret was very low ball slap. Just barely getting out of that one in life. The turret is his best friend.
Yep, you have to play around the turret as ball slap because if not, you're going to get killed. Dragon, importantly, already 2 levels ahead. He's soon to complete I feel, the Titanic Hydra or the Ravenous. I feel like Ravenous wouldn't be a bad idea, and with that, I feel like it's going to be Ravenous. So soon to complete the Ravenous Hydra means that his silent potential is going to be even higher. And realistically, the only one that will be able to fight him is going to be Bolstad, and not fight him essentially, survive against him. Because if you said Wonderworld, he's dying immediately. That second Q part almost did half health of Bolstad.
Yeah.
Imagine that on a Victor.
Yeah, that is good. You don't want to experience that. The next drag
Yep.
being up though in 5 seconds, we're going to see a bit of an altercation. We do see the Rift Tail getting dropped in this bot lane, and it's looking to me like Ball Slap is going to be the one to answer. And oh no, no, no,
He's
the
not
dude, the
fast
Rift Tail doesn't
enough.
care. He's not fast enough. Okay, so but that's kind of big though. They're like, you know what? You take this drag. We're gonna get your
I like
mid
this
lane
trade.
turret instead. That's actually that's a good little trade to come out there. Someone needs to stop that Rift Tail, please. Okay, it is gonna die to the turret, and they are going to get quite a bit of damage off onto this tier 2 in the mid lane as well. So that overall, that's something you'd like to see.
Oh wait, Best Buy.
Best Buy support is stuck though in the event horizon. The death charge coming out, knocking
He's
up a
fine,
whole
though.
lot of teammates. Oh yeah, he should be fine. Super Mega Death Rugger will find Ultro and take him out. That death charge was huge. Was able to place it, and it went through so many members. And here comes a call of fourth god. Can they get something? They will get 2 of those kills too, and Lucifer goes down as well. And just like that, monkeys are turning this thing around.
Yeah, the easy to execute composition shining there. Ooh, flash by Wonderworld, but that was such a horrible fight by the side of Urgottem. And not because they just lose, but it's important to know how it happened. If we can get a pan onto it, look at the bush where the fight happened. It has a ping ward, a single ping ward, which is blue. They had the opportunity to play down any ping wards. They had at least in one. Oh, wait. Ooh, okay.
Oh,
She's
close
fine.
one. Close
But
one.
they have the chance to put down a pingward from Lee Sin, a pingward from Caitlyn, which I'm not sure if she just bought, or a pingward from Morgana. But they force themselves into a fight where they have no vision. So even though the Nautilus goes way too far forward, it doesn't matter. You have no vision. You cannot play around that. And as soon as everyone tries to collapse into the Nautilus to kill him but has no vision, you lose a lot of damage. The enemy team can respond so easily. And even before the Yorn arrived into the fight, it was such an easy fight as a 4v5 for the side of the monkeys to win. That was so well done by them. They respond, and a team fight that was with being behind in gold by the side of the monkeys. Now they are ahead. They have a Jinx that has a second item, a Victor that has a second item. At 23 minutes, it's a risky business for them. The side of the monkeys are not yet out of trouble, in my opinion, but this is such a good way to come back into the game after such a great fight that they pulled off.
Yeah, absolutely. Really utilizing any advantage that they can get, and they need to, because like we were saying, they were down on gold before. Now they are slightly up, but they need to keep working if they want to keep that lead. But it's looking to me like maybe Ballside is going to be defending that turret, might be calling for some help here. Maybe they can single out El Dragon, who is alone in this top lane at the moment. And we do see that Warhead is kind of hovering around just in case something does go down. But El Dragon sniffing that something's up and instead going to go ahead and hit that. Oh, maybe not hit the back, actually.
Maybe they stay thinking that they have a chance to kill the Yorn, and I feel like they still are strong enough to kill the Yorn even with a Mythic and the Rumble Best completed on the Yorn. But if it's not a kill, it's potentially going to be turret as well, so El Dragon doing his job. I do gotta say that I would like to see El Dragon much more on bot lane than on top lane, because El Dragon has teleport. Yeah, he has teleport. Veigar didn't have until just now, so it would have been better to keep the Veigar closer to the Baron buff, which was going to be one of the important buffs. And also because if El Dragon can carry people or force people to go towards bot lane, that leaves a spot open for Baron buff taking.
Yeah, absolutely. We do see Orin already whipping out these upgraded items now as well. That's just gonna help his team, a little bit more to kind of get that edge
Yeah.
in these fights. We are seeing they are just barely holding on to that gold lead right now. They need to get something. They're looking to get this bot lane turret because you can see right now it's really just barely point 0.3. It's honestly just point 0.2 now. Point 0.1. Yeah, it's like the moment every time you look, it's changing, and it's so incredibly close.
Yeah.
So right now they're neck and neck right now, to say the least. The gold rush.
Yeah, that's why I feel like the next Dragon fight, which I think as Soul Point, the side of Monkeys will not give up, is such an important fight. If the side of Monkeys win it, I feel like they put themselves into a spot that now they can just look to win the game overall. But if the side of Urgottem wins it, that's going to be the boost that they need, that they need to finally be able to go over the line. With that win, they can maybe, if there's a fight and they win it, they can maybe look into Baron buff. And if they have Baron buff with the Camille, then trying to crack the base is going to be much more easily. And they have such a great composition for sieging with the Veigar and the Kidlin.
Yeah, absolutely. We see El Dragon once again still in that top lane, applying some pressure. The next drag is up in 44 seconds, and we will be seeing a bit of a scuffle. We already see Warhead securing themselves some vision there with the Scuttlecraft going down. And overall, I guess maybe El Dragon and Ball Slap. Yeah, dude, he's just chill. He's just chilling, dude. He's just letting El Dragon get some hits off on the turret. Looking to maybe engage. Oh, that is a lot of damage coming out, though. Definitely got to respect that from El Dragon. That true damage definitely does hurt. But I'd assume they're just going to let El Dragon just chill. Meanwhile, though, they're not going to let this bot lane chill because that's side support in a terrible spot right now. Altro going to go gold with those chains. Nothing quite going to come out of it, though. Chaos Storm was huge, though. But now the TP came out from El Dragon. But it doesn't matter because you're getting ruined. X-Tag Ultimatum comes down, and you are done, though. Doesn't matter. You could throw everything you've got at them. Not respectable. We'll go 1 for 1, but that's a double kill for Vunda World. And this might just be what we were talking about. Exactly what they need. They want to stay ahead of this. Call the Forge God, just barely going to get out of that one with the Gale Force, and that will be the dragon going into the hands of the Monkeys.
Yeah, it looked like such a great fight, and then they played that fight as worse as they could. That was so badly played that I cannot begin to describe how bad it was. You got him. The idea is correct. The idea is great. You get the ping ward down with 2 champions getting stunned by the Veigar, but the Veigar combo is ineffective. He doesn't really get much out. He doesn't even use the ultimate onto one of the targets so they don't die. And then the follow-up from the rest of the members was so bad. And this is also where I came from with Old Dragon, even though he can be a really nice split pusher and a bruiser coming from behind. You cannot go in alone. Look at your build. You have Titani and you have Ravenous Hydra, and you have the newly updated Divine Surrender that doesn't give the health that it gave previously, which means that you're essentially squishy. You're not going to survive that long, and you're going in 1v4. What else would you expect would happen apart from dying, unless you're 10,000 gold ahead by yourself? That's simply not something to expect. And Camille dies, the rest of the team tries to cover up for the mistake by the Camille, they get punished, they die, and it's simply such an easy fight to follow up. This is where this kind of easy to execute compositions shine. When the enemy makes such a blatant mistake, it's so easy for them to follow up, be able to run into the team fight as they were doing, and just win it so easily. Oh, Wonderworld.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderworld. Second minute does get dropped, but so is the Gravity Field. El Dragon is in a terrible spot now. He's the one on the run, and Chaos Storm takes him out. I thought he had it. Didn't quite, though. Too much damage coming out from Wonderworld. Yeah.
It's now harder because the Camille is behind. She doesn't have enough damage to kill the Victor with one-shotting it. And the Victor also now has Sungest, which means that there's armor. You don't have any way to go over the armor apart from your true damage in the second part of the queue. And you cannot miss anything from your combo, but if I'm not wrong, she missed the stun. So, yeah.
Yep. Oh, Andrazi coming out here onto T1 Lucifer. They're sending everything they got at him here, coming out from the Gorging, but it does not matter. Too little, too late, not enough, and will go down. And just like that, the Monkeys are looking dangerous. They are not going to be taking any L's tonight.
Yep, and this is why I thought that even though the gold lead at 16 was 16k, it didn't matter. It's not that bad of a gold deficit to be in. And the side of Urgottem didn't really push any issue into the side of the Monkey, so it's such an easy fight to collect El Dragon.
Yeah. Oh, El Dragon did get hooked there. It's incredibly low. Will go down. Primordial Burst will take out Lilia here, but that's about all they're gonna get. A flash coming out, but it wasn't even necessary because the Call the Forge God was used onto Altro, trying to get themselves this inhibitor here with this Baron buff push. Should be able to grab it and then just get out of there. Event Horizon coming down, not quite going to get anyone. Ace in the hole comes out, but ball slap with very nice block. Does get rooted by the trap. T1 Lucifer trying to find anything. Can't quite get it. And ball slap in a terrible spot. They might get this kill here. And yeah, ball slap is to the rest of the team like, listen, man, just get going. I'll get out of this one. Flashes T1 Lucifer incredibly low. They want to run him down, but they just can't.
They didn't get the trap combo down with the Caitlyn, so already a mistake there. And then Lucifer didn't even use the kick either. So they could have gotten such a free kill. They decide not to use any important cooldowns from what I see with Lee Sin. And that just means that you lose complete gold value. You don't get any kill. You lose an inhibitor. You're so far behind now. And I feel like we're just waiting till the side of Monkeys want to put the last nail on the coffin. Because this game seems as close as over as it can be.
Yeah, things not looking good. They're definitely going to be. Seems like we might just see the Urgottem reformed or be relying on this Vega that we were talking about with that infinite scaling potential. But it's going to be a while before he gets anywhere near kind of being able to touch anyone from the side here of Monkeys. I mean, we see quite a bit of damage coming out, but it's just too damn squishy. It doesn't matter how much damage you do if you have Sir Grinds who's just pommeling rockets into you. You got Ball Slap who's just dashing into you. You've got Warhead with putting you to sleep and then just doing the true damage of the year onto you. So, I mean, is there still a window for Urgottem Reform to come back into this thing? Or are they just delaying the inevitable at this point?
If they can get a pick on someone, like Veigar still has ultimate. And that thing will burst out almost anyone in the game. So if they are able to find it, then I can see it happen.
Maybe they look to find something here. There we go. T1 Lucifer getting into that
kick?
backline. The kick, though, that could be huge. But Sir Grinds with the flash of his own. No one follows up. Ace in the hole. It does come out, but it doesn't matter.
They got it.
They do get it, though. That might be big. T1 Lucifer incredibly low. Needs to dip. Call the Force God. We'll take him out, though. Warheads will go down in return. Blue Lake is trying to 1v1 the big boy Nautilus right now. Might just get it indeed. Primordial Burst bursts him to shreds. Chaos Storm taking him out, though. And now Blue Lake is left to fend on his own and will go down. Ultra, last man standing. It's a 1-on-2. Needs to run for his life. The Dark Binding will connect. Gonna try and find something out of it. Wonder with the flash, trying to run him down. So much damage coming out. One more attack, and there we go. Down he goes. Goodbye, good night. That's the ace, and that's the Dragon Soul point for the Monkeys.
Yeah, luckily it's not Soul because that would have been so bad. But yeah, a cute attempt from the side of the Urgottem, and this is what we talked about. If they get a pick, then I can see them trying to play around. But the way that they executed on that pick was really disjointed. They went for the Lydia and Ornn at the start, but then they saw they didn't saw the Altro saw window of opportunity to go, or not Altro, sorry, Lucifer saw window of opportunity to get onto the Jinx, but he was the only one. No one followed up on that kick. That kick was so perfect, but no one was ready. No one followed up. No one did anything. And then when they saw that that Lucifer got that kick, it didn't matter. Everyone else then decided the Sir Grinds flashed away. He was able to run away. And when they finally followed up, it was too late. Yes, you get the kill on the Jinx, but you're so disjointed in so much of a bad spot, and it was easier then to get a cleanup from the side of the Monkeys. Like, yes, Jinx died, but you still have a Victor that is 9-2 before that. I don't know how much he was, probably 5-2 or 7-2, if I'm not wrong. So it's not like it didn't matter that much. And they lose the fight, they lose the Dragon. They're such a tough spot. Like, there's still a chance, don't get me wrong. We saw the potential there. A pick means potential dying.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Oh, the Event Horizon just kind of disappeared there? I'm so
it was
for that.
invisible for us. I feel like maybe both labs saw it.
Yeah, might be. But yeah, overall, it was really sad to see because T1 Lucifer expertly maneuvers into that backline, gets the kick down. But then, yeah, it's like you were saying, we see that there's just no follow-up. Hell, we see the ace in the hole come out way too late as well. Just gets blocked by any one of the 4 other teammates from the side of Monkeys. And then once they finally get the Jinx, it's just too little too late. Oh my god, so much damage coming out. A very nice snipe, but yeah, Caitlyn can no longer fight. Doesn't quite kill her, but pretty much puts her out of commission here. Maybe they can get the pick. No, he's gonna go gold and will dodge the Primordial Burst. And Call the Forge God coming down, and that might just be game for them. Chaos Storm, so much damage coming out. Ultra goes gold, but it doesn't matter because he will still go down, and there's just nothing they can do. Baron is gonna go into the hands of Monkeys. Ball Slap and Bunda World are just the gatekeepers of the century.
Yeah, I want to say that there's still a chance, but I will call it already. I feel like this game, you're trying, when they look for a pick, the ultimate from the air gets completely denied, so you don't get the kill. and the damage by Wonderworld already is so high that the two carry squad from the side of Monkeys is so far ahead. The Jinx has so much damage, close to completing 4 items. The Victor already has 4 items, and
Yeah.
everyone has their ultimates. Yeah, that's it.
Double Drowsy
There's
coming
no way
out.
to
That's that
win this.
first Nexus turret going down. Not respectable. The death charges are going to land. He will be taken out most likely. So incredibly low. Is just surviving, but will go down. Finally, will go 2-for-1. Dragon going down as well. Blue Lake T1 are
Oh.
trying their best, but it's just not enough. The Nexus is exposed super
Can they maybe?
comes out. Maybe they can turn something around here. Ultra popping the ultimate, but Sir Grinds is just going to
Jinx
focus
is
the
healing.
Nexus. It's just trying to get the
Oh,
Nexus.
what?
Can he get it? Though it's looking. He won't indeed. Oh my
How much
god, the
health?
side of Urgottem just barely holding on here. They brought themselves a precious couple of minutes to try and make something happen.
Can they? Now, the real question is, can they do anything with this win? Like, it does mean that Kaylin gets a couple of... I cannot. Kaylin has Collector instead. Okay, that explains a lot of things, but ignoring that, that was such an important base defense. Really pushing the issue from the side of Monkeys. If they just played normally, they probably would have been able to finish the game. But they were able, the side of the Urgottem was able to kill Wonderworld in a moment that I didn't really notice how he died. It was, I think, if I'm not wrong, Dragon committing really heavily on him
Yeah.
and getting the kill onto the Victor, which was really important. When you kill the Victor, then the prime target becomes Sir Grinds. Sir Grinds uses Glance to run away. He has to use as well the Gale Force to reposition himself. And when he's the only one hitting the Nexus at the end, he's left in such a bad spot that it's almost impossible for him to not die. Really nicely played by your Gotham there to force everything and survive, make the Nexus survive. But now it's an open Nexus against a composition that has double teleport. If
Yeah,
there's even one wave close to the Nexus, that probably is game.
Yeah, not only that, it's also a Nexus that's incredibly low, to say the least. Sure, it'll regen ever so slightly, but they still definitely need to be careful with this Jinx as well. We can just shred it. Same with World as well. But we'll have to see. 40 seconds until the next dragon is up. This is going to be a
Do they
point of
want to fight it
contention.
though?
I don't know. That's the move. Do you want it? Do you want to give over Soul to the Monkeys? You already have so much going for them, because obviously they know if they lose, they're done. Like, that's it for them.
Yeah. So I feel like it is going to be a last stance kind of deal, but you can play this last fight not as a fight against them for the dragon, but for the fight that will come after the dragon. So you force them into that kind of a spot and try and look for the fight. Oh wait,
Oh, the
hold
Forge
up.
God coming in. They might just be looking for a fight here. The Black Shield's coming out, though. Nothing quite going to come out of it.
We are on the side.
Yeah, Swindle Speed. Not respectable. Maybe he can find some kind of picker. It's not looking like it, though. And there's that root. Yeah, Ultra going to go gold. And good night. You're going to be done. Flashes might just be able to get away. Drowsy coming out. And there's that fight we were talking about, though. Dragon, terrible spot. Overcommitted. Will go down. T Lucifer as well. Outro soon to follow. And it's looking at me like that's game, ladies and gentlemen. The Monkeys. They don't need bans. They don't need games. They take W's. They take names. And they're going to take this game, too. When he's just TPing in. He wants the final say. He wants that kill on the Nexus.
Yeah, and important that you pointed out.
Flash and go cold.
Yeah, just wanting to put even more salt to injury. But important that what you just said. They had no bans. They are playing with substitutes.
Yeah.
And they are able to win the game. A life-defining game, essentially, because this is their shot to get into playoffs if they win this match. They were like with their backs against the wall, and they win this game against essentially a lot, because there was quite a lot against them. Really nicely played, really nicely done. Nicely done. Full credit for me to Wonderworld, because even though he died at the start of the game, after that it was complete domination in the mid lane. The Vigor was never a factor in my opinion. The Victor was always there, and now you, as the side of the of Urgottem, have to consider, because you had 5 bans, and that didn't amount to anything. Now you have to see what do you end up banning, and what do you go against Wonderworld, because if I'm not wrong, they did ban 3 champions against him as well.
Yeah, I believe so as well. Like the Vexen, we saw that kind of stuff coming out. And also, I gotta say, Sir Grinds as well, right? Terrible, terrible start, right? Just
Yep.
that was like a mental crushing start, to say the least. You're literally dancing and then you just get murked out of the blue. But still,
And it didn't
just
matter.
yeah, exactly. Didn't matter. Did such a great job of not only keeping ahead in farm, but also kills towards the end as well. Got those resets when it mattered. Actually, it was very much aware, because I feel like sometimes there's a lot of ADCs that just aren't aware of how kind of juicy of a target they are, right? Like we saw, for
Yeah.
example, in the one fight where T1 Lucifer has the right idea, commits everything to getting to that back line, getting the kick out, And Sir Grimes realizes this, waits for it to happen, and then instantly flashes back out, runs for the hills, and once he's in a kind of safe location, does as much damage as possible, allows his team to come out ahead.
Yeah, it's the kind of mentality that I think in League of Legends there's a little bit less. I tend to watch other games, obviously, and I watch quite a bit of Dota, and it's something that I do see there, where the carry is the main bait. Like he
Yeah.
believes in the ability of the teammates to have, which you do have a lot of saves in there, to be able to keep the player alive, and that's not something that you typically see in League of Legends. I understandably because there's less safe potential. But if
Yeah.
you're able to bait yourself to use yourself as a bait as the AD carry and then force the enemy team into a bad position, that's a kind of advantage that can be much more important in critical fights because since you're going to be the main target, if you're able to force them into a bad spot and then turn it around as a whole team, it just becomes much easier to play around the game as well. But it's also
Yeah.
harsh to execute as well. It's
Yeah,
important.
absolutely. Speaking of hard to execute as well, it was certainly hard to block Warhead as well, like we were talking about, right?
Yep.
You had that black shield, but it only shields one person, and we saw that especially in that first bot lane gang. Warhead pulls up, gets that the double E hits, and then just pops the ultimate, and then the black shield comes out on Ultra only exclusively. And then it's like, well, Blue League's in a bad spot now. And Blue League goes down.
Yep.
Accordingly, Ultra's quick to follow. And just from that, Sir Grimes did an amazing job of just snowballing the lead. That being said, though, speaking of snowballing, let's see if Monkeys can actually snowball this win into yet another one as we go to a short break. And then when we're back, we'll be in the draft for game number 3, the all deciding match. Don't go anywhere. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. A game number, well, I guess game number 2 on stream, game number 3 technically.
Yep.
You know what I'm trying to say. You get the idea. Point being is that this is it, the last game of the night, the all deciding match. All chips are going to be on the table for this one. Now, I got to ask you, man, is there a shot that Urgottem Reformed wins this, man? You got to remember, they just lost to monkeys who had no bans, had to play with a bunch of subs, and have the pressure of not making it into the playoffs
Yep.
if they lose on their shoulders. The mental diff is huge. I mean, the mental fortitude coming out from monkeys is absolutely enormous. Is there a universe where Gotham wins?
But anything can happen always. Like
That's true.
even if you lose one of the games, it's important how your comeback ability is going to be. And I say that as like you're pointing out, mental fortitude. It's important that you can brush off one game problems or even just a 30-minute problem. Like not even a one game. Like for
Yeah.
because the first 15 minutes from recording were nice. They execute quite well in a lot of things. So if you can brush off the 15 after minutes, then it doesn't matter, and you can try and win the third game. If I have to allude to anything, Champions League Wednesday, Real Madrid, PSG. If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about, and that was great, by the way. But yeah, you do need to be able to brush it off, come back into the game, and if you can do that, I can see a chance for you. Now, strictly speaking about game, we need to see what the composition is because I really liked Monkeys in the previous game. I didn't think that with everything stacked against them, they would be able to play it, but at the end they were able to pull it off, and I feel like if they can get another composition like those, it's going to be quite great. Already we're quite deep into the pick and ban, so just quickly to mention them, we have Lilia, Victor, and Bex taking away two of the champions on the previous game, which impacted quite a lot the game. And then we have Jinx, Ashe, and Jarvan, which the Jinx, I feel like I pointed out, the best city carrying the game for me. As soon as she was able to come back, so much damage was done by her. So
Yeah.
good bans overall. Now, bot lane's getting picked at the start, not something that we typically see, especially for first pick, unless it's the Jinx. But Ezreal, quite an interesting first pick in my opinion. It's not like he's the best of first picks, but it does say that Urgottem probably wants to have a save AD carry that can be by himself, and you want to send the Leona to now pick the Xin Zhao to provide for the rest of the map. And this was banned in the first game.
Yeah,
This last
absolutely.
pick.
Yeah,
If it gets big,
Yeah, hovering over it, might get to see why it was banned. They will pick
yes,
it indeed.
okay.
Yeah. So we might just get to see why it was banned. Honestly no surprise that Jinx ban coming out, right? Monkeys are just like, yo, if we don't get it, no one gets to use it, right? If I'm not happy, no one gets to be happy. So
I feel
they did
I
ban
feel
that
like
away.
that's the natural course of action. So,
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to get it picked away from them. That being said, though, Shyvana in the jungle going up against, I assume at least
Or-
in the jungle, going up against Xin Zhao. How do you feel about that?
I feel like Shyvana works in the same vein as the Lilia that we saw. Like she
Hmm.
really does like her level 6 power spike, especially if she opts into the AP route, which I feel like you tend to do with a Shyvana. I feel like that's the
Yeah.
main playable kind of way of the Shyvana in the jungle. So you do want your level 6 as soon as possible. She's a great power farmer, so I don't expect to see her quite impact the map if at all, if I'm honest,
Hmm.
because she doesn't even have good gank setup by herself compared to other junglers like the Hecarim that do farm, but they have gank setups or gap closers potentially. So I don't expect to see the Shyvana like that.
So you think we might just be kind of seeing the same sort of rerun here from
Yeah.
Warhead that like kind of don't really see much coming out of him until level 6 unless there's some kind of like a free kill maybe.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be the pattern coming in. But one thing that it does set up with the Shyvana and the level 6 coming in later on with her poke build is that if you go Shyvana poke and Kai'Sa poke, there is a lot of potential to just win fights before they even start, thanks
That's
to just the amount of poke damage. That's why I'm kind of surprised to see the Corki banned away because I feel like it does allow for extra poke to come through. The problem is that it would be a lot of AP in the composition, but the thing is now with the Veigar there is a lot of AP in the composition.
Yeah.
So it's
I was-
still
I was-
quite a
Yeah.
lot to work with.
Yeah, so I was gonna say for a second like maybe Big Brain it's gonna be actually Kai'Sa in the mid lane instead, and so like that
Oh,
was
I
Big
would
Brain,
love that.
but that'd be interesting to see. However, so the Veigar being picked here actually from Monkeys, they're like, hey, we like what you did, but let me show you how to do it better here in this mid lane. Gonna pick it up for themselves, answered by the
Ooh.
Vel'Koz though. Okay,
We don't typically see him. He's
Yeah.
a champion that I feel like You do have to be practiced on him. He's not a champion that you can start off easily with, but I feel like it's underappreciated. Vel'Koz has quite a few lanes that he's really proficient in. I feel like against Victor even, he can find his stride really well and people don't play him much, so I like the Vel'Koz pick. Urgottem opting into a similar composition from what the Monkeys pulled off in the previous game. Not the same because there's a difference with the front lining tank that you're going to
Mm.
opt with Ragnar, but overall it does work similarly with the engage potential, with the kind of jungler that you're opting with, and with a little bit of a variance as well with the Belkas and the Ezreal. Now on the other side, Monk is interestingly opting for the Urn. I like to have two frontliners for the poke potential with the Shyvana, and looking at it, I think it's going to be the Veigar because you're now depending quite a lot on the Kaisa going for the AD build.
Mm.
But it may work out really well, and one thing that monkeys still have, or that they will have with the Veigar, is the pick potential. Like you have Veigar, you have Nautilus, you have the Ornn as well with the ultimate and a lot of CC. So it's not like you're losing pick potential compared to the previous game where the Veigar was picked either.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice to see as well that Organa Reform kind of backing away from this sort of like early game mentality that we saw from game one. And this time around, like we've got, the Ezreal, the Vel'Koz, the Gnar, who kind of, well, they're definitely still a bit of a threat in the early game. They do take a little more time to kind of
Yeah.
scale up, and that way they can kind of match themselves with monkeys, because it's like we said, right? If for some in that last game, if for some reason that early game straight doesn't work out, they were going to really rely on the Veigar to kind of carry them through the late game. That unfortunately didn't happen. So it's definitely nice to see that this time around Urgottem Reform is going to have a bit more kind of mid to late game reassurance.
Yep, 100%. It's important to have some things to play around, and this also falls into the spot where, when in doubt, play something easy, right? When in
Yeah.
doubt, it's much better to execute something that it's not super hard, and I feel like that's also what Urgottem is now putting themselves into. I feel like if you're going to play a deciding game like this, it's better to have an easy to execute comp like Monkeys had in the previous game, where it's going to be much easier and you will have much leeway in case something happens. And one of the things that I also like about Urgottem's comp is that, and I tend to mention this sometimes, where when you draft, if you have transitioning spots with champions, it's going to be great. If you have a champion that that will allow you to transition from early to mid to late game with this, it's always going to be quite great. And that's why I think your Gotham has drafted something really nice, because you have the Xin Zhao for early game aggression, you have then the Leona, Belkas, and Nar, and Ezreal as well, because he power spikes really well in the mid game to kind of allow you to gain advantages in that spot. And then in the late game, you have the Belkas and the Ezreal much more to just get your late game power spike and damage. And I feel like being able to play around those three stages in an effective manner, it's going to work great for Gotham. It's not like
Mm.
Monkeys doesn't have that, but the early stages are going to be much difficult for them when you look at the composition, because Shyvana is not an early game monster. Kai'Sa and Nautilus are not early game based champions, even though they have a great level 2 power spike. They are not early game based. And then Veigar and Ornn are not early game either. So it's going to be much harsher for them in that spot in the game, particularly.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious, what do you think, how the Gnar is going to fare against the Ornn here this time around, rather than the Camille, though?
I like Ornn because he can fare well against almost anyone, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
that's
Like
true.
I feel like there's really few champions that can punish the Ornn effectively, but it's not like Narn doesn't have windows of opportunity like the Camille does. You do have range advantage. You have the build into the Sunder that
Mhm.
allows you to put a good enough fight against the Ornn. And Nar is also one of the champions that, even though he's not done quite a lot recently, you can opt into building Blade of the Ruined King or items like that that do work well against Yorn. So it's not like it's impossible for the Nar to opt into that. Now, the early stages of the game are going to find quite a lot of that matchup, because if Nar cannot find a meaningful advantage pre 15, then he kind of falls off compared to the Yorn.
Hmm. And also, this is the most important time. This time, we're not going to miss it. Points are on the line, TDS. And we're seeing a dramatic shift from last game, where it was
Yep.
like 70% for Earth. This time around, oh, someone just dropped a huge bag on Earth, actually. But I was going to say, this time around, do you think that you go with a safe kind of monkeys pick now that we've seen what they can do? Or is Organa Reform going to, where they just like kind of, the ultimate mental damage, making it seem like they had a chance and now they're just going to rip the rug from under them?
I am scared to go for monkeys this game,
Mm.
not because they cannot win, but because the Shivana is such a huge wild card that if it works out, I'll be amazed. It's not like she can't, but she's one of those champions that needs so many things to work out for her.
Mhm.
She needs to not get invade. She needs to have priority from her laners. She needs to have a good time in the early stage of the game, and she also needs to be again against champions that don't have quite a lot of CC or engage, because if
Mm.
not, she can easily be controlled and she dies. So when you're against these kind of options, which realistically Urgottem have quite a few in their place, and I think much more importantly, the fact that Xin Zhao will have priority to try and invade the Shyvana, it's where I'm really really scared, and I can see the game falling completely head over, head down into the side of the monkeys, and Urgottem being able to take it. If I go by what I think it's going to be much more ideal and easy, I feel like Urgottem will win because,
Mm,
and I think I
okay.
said this with Monkeys last game. If you have an easy to execute composition, I feel like you'll have an easier time, and I feel like if it's going to be better for you. The only reason why I didn't go was because everything was stacked against the Monkeys, but I just think that Urgottem will be able to brush it off and come back with this composition.
Speaking of easy to execute, right? I see a lot of very easy executable R combos coming out from the
Yep.
side of Earth, right? You've got the Leona Solar Flare followed by the True Shot Barrage, the Disintegration Ray, the Gnar ultimate as well. So a lot of damage going to be coming out of that. It's going to be interesting to see how they play things. It's dangerous for monkeys here. They know what's on the line. Maybe the nerves calm down a little bit now that they had a very stellar performance in that first
Yep.
game that we saw from them. But only time will tell. We've seen it on paper. We're gonna have to see it in execution. So we throw it to a short break, and when we're back, we'll be on the Rift for this last deciding game. You know you want to see this.
Penny for your thoughts, cause I'm a millionaire. Try to pay you off, but you don't really care. Wish I could see you straight through ya. Right underneath everything and fool ya. Shoot straight, no blank, some kind of hell. Go round and round in a carousel. You got me dizzy, tripping, falling on the ground. Yeah, you're a blank page, I'm a white canvas. Who knows what we could be together? Wet paint caught you red-handed. Who knows if this'll be forever? Run me under water curves. Okay, let me be candid. This won't be forever. Maybe this is love, maybe melodrama. Maybe you're the one or you're back home. Or you could be my vice, yeah. All that I need, everything I like, yeah. Shoot straight, no blank, some kind of hell. And go round and round in a carousel. You got me dizzy, tripping, falling on the ground. Oh, you're a blank page, I'm a white canvas. Who knows what we could be together? Wet paint caught you red-handed. Who knows if this'll be forever? Run me under water curves. Okay, let me be candid. This won't be forever.
All right, everybody. We are on the Rift for the last deciding game of the night. Now, Urgottem Reformed got themselves a first win here by a little bit of late coming here, so they had one win in the bag automatically. Monkeys managed to claw their way through that second game, giving themselves one win as well. And this is a best of three, so that means this last match will decide it all. And already, my God, they're looking for a very different strategy this time. The five-man
Level one.
invade, perhaps.
Well, they did pull a kind of level one in the previous game,
That's
right?
true.
Like,
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
not full on level one, but it was similar. So
Yeah.
I like the idea. I'm always all in for level ones, but this time around there was less of a chance that I can see it happening
Hmm.
from the side of Monkeys, particularly because I feel like they will still have the image of the Jinx dying. So that's why we see much more respectable from the like.
Yeah,
Look at Sir Grind's position.
he is
So
not stepping forward this time.
yeah, it was going to be much harder for them to be able to pull it off. And you as Leona really don't want to start seeing it played. You would rather start with Shield of Daybreak just because in lane you can just work forward and get the stun down, and that works out much better. And you can
Yeah.
threaten much more with that.
Yeah, definitely. But we do see a double bot start here from both junglers. Like we're saying, though, most likely Warhead gonna kind of prioritize more just farming, getting to that level six. Looking at the runes and the abilities, though, not abilities, the summoner spells. Anything interesting that kind of strikes your eye there, or this is pretty par for the course?
So I'm not super versed on Shyvana, if I'm honest. I feel like
Mm,
she's such a champion that I haven't seen quite a while. I was informed though, and I should know this since I'm the color caster, but some things do escape from me sometimes. She is currently much more stronger than I would expected, and I feel like if the things that she's taking and what she's going to do, it's similar to that of the Carthus,
mm.
maybe. So
Oh my
wait, level
god,
two.
so much
Ooh.
burst damage coming out the level 2. Indeed, Ultro needs to be careful. You are not Morgana this time around. You cannot black shield anything there. Best Buy support doing a lot of damage there. Maybe
No,
gonna
she
look for
walked
something
forward.
here. Walks forward, though. That might have not been the move
Oh.
because the Ignite just comes out. It's gonna be huge, but first blood will
Oh.
go into the hands of Ultro. We'll go 1-for-1, and now Sir Grinds is gonna be going up against Blue Jay. But Blue Jay with the Conqueror healing is gonna do a bit too much damage for him to handle. We'll back off.
Heal diff in the bot lane really did help in that fight.
Yeah.
But it's really sad how that happened because even though they get first blood from the bot lane of Urgottem, the Kai'Sa gets the kill. The Ezreal doesn't. So the lead is going to be in a much better spot for the Kai'Sa. And I was going to mention before the Nautilus died that this was something that we did see potentially coming. The level 2 power spike from Kai'Sa Nautilus is so huge. Like the passive from the Kai'Sa stacks so well with the Nautilus, and even if you're a tanky support, you are not really that tanky to go against the amount of damage that comes in bursting in from level 2. So the Leona gets punished, but really nice re-engage. The Nautilus overstepping his confidence there. And Leona, one thing that Leona and Nautilus have to be careful about is their tankiness so early on. And even though Leona and Nautilus are similar, oh wait,
Ooh,
nice
flash coming up
flash.
from flash coming up from Eldrag, gonna hop over the minion there and get out. But
Great
that is a
timing.
flash. Yeah, great time. But that is a flash being burned, so that's definitely so.
Yeah, and as Shyvana, it's not something typical to see her succeeding in a gank like that. Really nice setup by Pulse Lab, but I really like how Shyvana came in, especially because just taking advantage of how pushed the wave is was going to be much easier for her.
We'll see Blade coming in. No, Sir Grinds in a terrible spot right now. Best by support, tanking as much as he can, but needs to be careful. Pretty low, but nothing quite gonna come out of that one. A close call to say the least, though.
Yeah, it's so much damage that you can deal with the Ezreal and the Leona, and even though I still feel like you have to be careful about the Kai'Sa Nautilus, like they can just do so much. Oh,
Yeah,
Wonderworld.
Wonderworld needs to be careful as well. The flash to escape
Nice
that
flash.
third Q from T1 Lucifer. Close one, but once again, another flash being burnt.
Yeah, and that's something that I really like out of the Belkos that, like I was speaking with the Belkos, that doesn't get appreciated. Against champions like the Veigar that don't have a lot of mobility, that E is so dangerous to play around. Oh, Eldragon.
Eldragon does have that one level up on Ball Slap, doing quite a bit of damage with that Mega Gnar form. Oh my god, I can't even speak anymore. Good god. I'm just dying at this point. However, first drag is about to be on the map, and we're already seeing both junglers kind of hovering in this bot side, clearing out their camps. Maybe we see a bit of an early game scuffle.
Yeah, potentially. One thing that it's important to keep in mind since we have a Shyvana game is that dragons are actually really important to collect. She gets more powerful with each dragon that she collects. If I'm not wrong, each dragon does give a different stack or a different advantage, but
Yeah.
it's important for her to collect those dragons. So I feel like there's going to be a little bit more emphasis from the side of monkeys to collect the dragons this game. If not the first, at least the coming ones are going to be much more important for them to collect.
Yeah, gonna have to see. Perhaps they'll kind of stick to a Warhead, farming up, getting that level 6. They can always give that first dragon and see what the next one's gonna be. But actually, seen a bit of an invade here from Warhead. Oh, they have no
Imagine
idea.
being a Xinjiao and you get invaded by a Shyvana.
Yeah, I was about to say that's gotta suck. But we might just see the clash of junglers here in this top lane. Warhead is here, but doesn't realize T1 Lucifer was there the whole time. Is gonna go ahead and back up. Eldragon has hit level 6, so has Ball Slap. Maybe they look for some kind of an engager, but Warhead is like, "Nah, listen, man, I gotta farm. I gotta get level 6. T1 Lucifer, on the other hand, doesn't feel so the same about farming here. Might go back, or maybe we see a bit of a long con gang. We'll have to wait and see.
If Forn gets baited here because of the okay, I
Ah,
thought I
oh,
thought you were going to ulti there. Oh wait, not respectable.
yeah. Gonna have to see if something happens to El Dragon. Oh, that not the kind of damage you want to take. There's nothing quite gonna come out of it.
Yeah, so nothing happens in either lane. Top lane just pushing the wave so that you can get a good back timing, and then on mid lane, not respectable, being respected. He is able to run away. He doesn't get collapsing. He doesn't even need to blow flash, and that's also it's also a good thing from the Vel'Koz, the range advantage that you do have, because even being far away. In a good bad spot in lane is not that bad because you have a lot of range and you have the CC to try and put yourself in a better spot even without blowing flash. Nice attempt by best by support though, because I feel like you do have to look for those windows of opportunity, especially in these kind of lanes where if you're not able to attack the Ezreal, which has a lot of safety, you have to look for other places in the map.
Yeah, absolutely right. And we do see kind of the usual here that we've seen in that first game as well, with Blue Lake and Ultra kind of pushing up into the turret here. But we have seen Sir Grinds and Best Buy support come back from a lot worse. And I mean, farm-wise, it's still pretty even. Sir Grinds does have that one kill up, so it does have the pickaxe and the double longswords, but Blue Lake does have that Sheen, so that's going to be quite a lot of damage coming out from him as well. Hook does go. It will connect onto Ultra, though. Probably not the target you wanted to hit. And now the Ignite comes out to kind of spook him off. Warhead is here as well, but T1 Lucifer is there to answer the call as well. Maybe a bit of a scuffle. Maybe they try to find something here. Nah.
They have an advantage though if it turns into a fight because Shyvana is level 6. T1 Lucifer not. So they need to be much more careful about what they look into this fight, although they have priority on mid lane, so it can become a 4v3 if they are not careful as well from the side of the monkeys. This is a spot where you do want to see a fight happening if you're either team, but you cannot commit wrongly because the early game is such an important step for both teams. For the side of monkeys, they need to make it so that the early game is not it's neutral at the end. Oh wait,
absolutely, another hook landing. True Shot Barrage coming out onto Sir Grinds, doing quite a bit of damage. Blue Lake as well with the Q. Ultra just once again tanking as much as he can, allowing Blue Lake to do the damage that they need. T1 Lucifer is in that bottom bush looking for some kind of an opening, but I just don't think they'll be fighting anytime soon unless T1 decides to stay for the long game.
I would have liked to see them trying to force a fight with the Shyvana level 6, but it's such a risky business. Although Shyvana does bode well, especially with the exhaust. You would have a summoner advantage against the enemy team just because there's flashes, yes, but you don't have the extra fighting summoner to be playing around with. Shyvana though looking for the farm. Oh wait, Shyvana stops it.
Yeah, needs to be careful here. Shyvana opting to go ahead and just invade T1's. Oh my god, I just forget jungle. I forget the word jungle for a second. Let's go. Nice. Meanwhile, Boss Lab getting taken incredibly low by El Dragon. But yeah, like we were saying, right, we figured that Warhead just going to really prioritize farming up, getting that XP lead. Going to give that first dragon up. Meanwhile, though, not respectable, stuck in the cave. Disintegration rate coming up maybe a bit early, not doing the amount of damage it could have done. T1 Lucifer, a very nice flash from Wonderworld to get out. Dragon's Descent coming down. 6. T1 Lucifer, there's that level 6 getting popped, but you popped it into the 3-man, and you might pay the price for it. Primal Burst coming down. We'll get one. Might get 2 here. So close. Can they get it? They will indeed. Shit with the Q. Needs to run for life. The Triumph Conquer, the Triumph Healing coming out. Gonna allow Warhead to survive that one.
Yeah. Oh wait, unless
they might not even be done. Yeah, Depth Charges coming out onto Not Respectable. Can't quite follow that one up, so nothing quite coming out of it just yet. A big flash though from Best Buy support. That might be huge. A knockup coming. Call of the Forge God with the hook. There's no way he just got baited out like that.
El Dragon, you cannot die like this. It was okay to maybe push off a little bit harder, but don't die. Don't get baited like that. You get killed. And a situation that, yes, was bad, but wasn't super bad turns really, really bad. Because now, Bigger has 3 assists, yes, but he collected so much AP for his passive. The Nard dies, so Ornn has free time now in lane. Shyvana gets 2 kills and she didn't even die. This is such a good spot now for the monkeys. And I knew it. I told you guys, as soon as I said monkeys were not going to be able to win because I don't know what to expect from the Shyvana, Shyvana was going to carry.
Yeah. And Flash coming out. Yeah, Flash coming out from Ballsap to get away from T1. Might just see T1 look to channel that into a free Rift Herald because Lord knows they need to find some kind of opening on this map. They need to get some extra income when it comes to gold because right now they are at about a 1.5k deficit. Like you're saying, 2 kills on the Shyvana, has picked up that Frostfire Gauntlet already. 3 assists on the Veigar, getting so many stacks on that passive. He's got those 3 stacks on the Dark Seal as well, just going to accelerate the amount of damage that he's doing. And now we see the Predator being popped. Adventure Horizon should be soon to follow. It's going to get popped, waiting for the last second there. Warhead is there as well. Dragon is sent to push him into the wall. There's so much damage. And goodbye, good night. Primordial Burst bursts you out. Hook going wide, meanwhile, in this bot lane, so nothing quite going to come out of that just yet.
Yeah, such an easy kill to collect. Whoa, that is a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Such an easy kill to collect in the mid lane, though. This is what I thought was going to happen much more in the previous game, when there were with the Veigar just popping Predator and putting the Victor in such a bad spot. And compared to the Victor, even though I think the range from non-respectable is going to work much better, he is a champion that if you're able to get on top of him, he doesn't have much ways to survive, and his abilities are essentially skill shots. Essentially, yeah. You need to be able to hit them to get the most out of it, and realistically, if their champions are so close to him, it's going to be much harder for him to miss because it's easier to move around him as well. So getting that kill in the mid lane, really nice. Shyvana is doing so much, and even though she didn't have the exhaust, we are seeing what the Shyvana can accomplish as soon as she hits level 6, which is why I think it was so important for her to go for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, another one of those moments of executable R's, and once again, Eldragon, terrible spot. The Forge God has been called in. They're hitting them up, and they're getting this kill as well. Dragon's Descent, and good night, goodbye. Burnt to a crisp. Eldragon was killed by his very own brethren. He was killed by the actual dragon. Eldragon's just an imposter at this point.
Yeah, he's not really a dragon compared to the Shyvana.
Yeah, ooh, a lot of damage coming out. The Zenith Blade does connect,
no flash,
but
maybe?
Warhead is there to help. Can he do anything though? Wunderworld's running for his life. Event Horizon gets dropped. Primordial Burst won't quite be enough. They need to be careful though. They're trying their damnedest to get onto him. Here comes the two-step rush. It's on a hit and do quite a bit of damage. T1 Lucifer will pick up that kill. That's the shutdown. Looking to follow things up. You might have been on more than you can chew though. The root coming out. That's 1 for Ball Slap. Can they make it 2? If they can run down Not Respectable here and now, won't quite find him, I don't think. A lot of damage coming out for Not Respectable, and Ultra will be able to run back to the safety of the turret.
It took them so much. Okay, he wants to re-engage really hard.
Lord. Eldragon needs to definitely be careful though. Does get hit
Are you sure
by the
about that?
double stun. I don't know if that was the move. Eldragon, you will be punished once again. Will go 1 for 1, so at least that's something. And Ultra just barely escaping with his life.
Yeah, so support for top laner, I don't think that's the best of traits, but you get 1 for 1, right?
You don't say.
Not respectable, cannot do anything.
Yeah, he knows he's got to back off.
Wonderworld is running the show on this Veigar so well, and even though he was attempted to getting ganked, he survived so well, he didn't die, he's just getting so much done this game, and I cannot say how different this Veigar performance feels to the previous game. I feel like the Victor really is a better matchup against the Veigar, obviously, but like you're getting much more done with what you're giving as the Veigar, even if the Belkas has a lot of range. I think Wonderworld has been playing so well around the skill shots from the Belkas, and he can simply achieve the same as what?
Oh, trying to go for the steal, won't quite get it though.
He tried so hard to get that. It looked like he could potentially do it, but smiting a little bit too early, 54 health if I'm not wrong, and it's such an easy collect by Warhead.
Yeah, overall, unfortunately, just landing a little bit short. Speaking of landing short, the short man is here in the mid lane, but the death ray so close. Primordial Burst, and goodbye. You weren't ever gonna get him. Flash coming out from Wonderworld to escape that one. Trying to hunt down Best Buy support. He's just walking it off like it's something. Actually gonna hook under turret. Dragon's Descent coming out with the Zenith Blade though as well, but Best Buy support goes down once again. For the fight. Can they make something happen out of this though? Will the sacrifice be worth it? So far, it's not looking likely. Yes, they will. They'll get 1 kill. Can they get Ultra here too? They will not. They will not. Eldragon exacting his revenge. Gonna try and get Wonderworld here, but will miss the Q. Gonna be able to dodge the Adventure Horizon, and we'll be able to walk out of that one safely. Close calls all around the board.
Dragon, how do you fail that? He was in front of you.
Yeah, it was kind of, it kind of hurt a little bit.
Okay, let's look at the bright side. At least he gets the kill onto, if I'm not wrong, Best Buy support and Warhead. So they get 2 kills. And even though they lose the Xinjiao, I feel like this is a better situation for Urgottem because they were already losing quite heavily in a lot of those trades. Like, they lose Not Respectable, they lose, they were going to lose the turret, it was so close. It's actually just 2 hits away from dying, without minions. With minions, it's 1. And they need to get the trades equal trades are going to benefit Urgottem much more because they are behind. So if as long as they can get those trades, it's going to work out better for them. Oh, Dragon.
That's Dragon looking to go one-on-one here, head-to-head with the Ford God himself. Ball slap. Doing a bit of damage. Does need to back off, though. It's some extended trades coming out here. Not too much to worry about. We do see that T1 Lucifer is slowly on the approach in this top lane. Maybe we see a bit of a gank coming out. There is a control ward in that bush. So Ball Slap should know right about now that he needs to get the hell out of there. And he does know indeed. And he's looking to just dip. Call the Forge God gets dropped. Dragon needs to be careful. Gonna have to sidestep that. But a very nice Crescent Guard will actually deny the second part of it being utilized. TP coming out as well just to make sure that Ball Slap will go down as Warhead is behind. Indeed. Wonderworld is here as well. Get ready to see Warhead send it, go all in. They will go down, but that Dragon's Descent doing a whole lot of damage. They're going to take up Dragon. Wonderworld needs to be careful. Almost getting taken apart by that Disintegration Ray. Won't quite get it though. Warhead trying his damnedest to get to T1, but T1 with a very nice win becomes lightning. Picks up a kill, picks up a double. He cannot be stopped. Meanwhile, that ball lane, we're not done yet, TDS. Hold up, though. Hook does connect onto Ultro. Looking to do a whole lot of damage here. Ignite coming out, followed by the ultimate Ultro. He's so tanky. Can he get out of this one? No, he cannot. The one little auto attack silence. But Best Buy, no. He missed the hook. Goes under the turret and goes down.
That's Lee syndrome, if I've ever seen one. Taking the Q when you don't really need to. Leona was dead. Ultra is dead. Oh no, Sir Grind.
Sir Grind's can he get this? No, he cannot. He's trying to run circles around Blue Lake, but gets taken out.
Dragon was there, so even if Sir Grind's gets a kill, she was going to die. Still, I'm still on, by the death of Best Buy support because that was so unnecessary. But let's focus on top lane play. It was a really nice bait by Dragon, buying so much time for T1 Lucifer together. Dragon didn't even have ultimate, so it's not like he could have made it easier for himself. He baited Ball Slap really well, and a lot of credit for T1 Lucifer for the ulti that he pulled off. Dragon should be fine.
Yeah, Dragon,
he should be fine.
He's just ramming that turret. He does not care. Maybe he'll look to take out one. He missed them. Dragon. Okay, we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to have a
before that, so it's fine.
Yeah, that's fair. I was about to say we're gonna have to have a special one-on-one lesson with Dragon after this one, but we'll let it slide for right now.
Yeah. So just also to finish on the top lane point, I really also want to give credit to Respectable because I feel like that TP was so good. Oh, Dragon.
Oh my! What? He's just gone.
He was mini Gnar.
Yeah, that's true. He's mini Gnar. He's dead Gnar at this point, bro.
Yeah. 5 deaths, not the most ideal scoreline that I've seen from an Gnar. Oh, whoa.
The hook just barely going hard. Best Buy support. He needs that Geek Squad tech support right now for those hooks because they are just going wide right now. I don't know what's going on. His hook is a little faulty.
I've come to the realization that Best Buy support hits Ultra 100% of the time. But if it's not Ultra, he hits the wall. Those are his 2 favorite targets.
Yeah, straight up. He's just got like a magnetic hook. It just only goes for Ultra or the wall at this point. No one else. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, you take one of the 2. Take your option there.
Yeah, exactly.
But important ultimate, just speaking, important ultimate blown by the Veigar down there in the bot lane. Xin Zhao now has to be much.
Hook does land though. Let's go on to not respectable, but you probably should have respected it. The Disintegration Ray coming out, but there's the Dragon's Descent. However, will get countered by a very nice Solar Flare. It's over. I don't think it is because your entire team is being taken out right now, Blue Lake. And just like that, 2 members will fall. T1 Lucifer just barely escaping the event horizon, and they might just have to give this Dragon. Best Buy support is incredibly low. The hook not quite going to connect. A lot of those red health bars are pretty low. If T1 Lucifer can find something, it won't quite find it. Actually gets stunned here. Nowhere for him to go. Tries to heal. It's not enough. Will go down.
Yeah, trying to go for the hero play to get the steal. It's still the 3rd dragon of the game, so it's not like you're really losing much giving it away. I thought that they were going to try and collapse on Ball Slap since it was going to be potentially an easy kill. And Dragon seems like that. Yeah. Oh, he doesn't have jump.
Oh, okay. Close one.
Yeah, he's fine, but it's still... This is why I said how important that ultimate down there in bot lane was. Because getting the ultimate out of the Xin Zhao means that he cannot face tank in the team fight. And when the rest of the members went dead and he wants to attempt a steal or something like that, he's such an easy target to kill without the ultimate. Now, speaking about the team fight previously, or the pick previously, Best Buy support finally hits someone that is not outro, gets the hook on not respectable, and even though he gets chunked down, it doesn't matter. You're forcing the enemy team into such a bad spot that as soon as the Veigar pops the Predator, it's such an easy kill to collect. He gets such a massive event horizon as well. 4 members were caught, and even though some survived, the team fight was already won by the side of the monkeys after that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point, Best Buy support is just the martyr for his team, right? He sends it. He doesn't even care if he dies, as long as he gets them in a terrible position that his team can just clean up on. All is good in the world. But speaking of that,
Yep.
all is about to not be good for Ball Slap if he's not careful. Best Buy support though smelled that something. There was blood in the water, and there's about to be a whole lot of it. Call
Oh,
the
the
Forge God
hook in.
coming out here. Let's see if they can get that double T1.
Oh,
L
Dragon.
Dragon does not take the L. Is able to flash over the wall, but the Dragon's descent. T1 Lucifer will take the L instead. Altro needs
He
to
can go
flash over the
first.
wall to escape. Oh, if that True Shot Barrage had hit Best Buy support, he would have gone down, but it will go wide, and so he will live to fight. He will live to hook another day, dare I say. Meanwhile,
Potentially.
trying to get that Baron. Yeah, Wonderworld needs to be careful against Blue Lake. It's going to steal that blue buff, but at what cost?
Oh.
Disintegration Ray comes out, but Wonderworld just explodes Blue Lake like it was nothing. Meanwhile, that Baron goes down, and now Warhead
You're gonna
might
fight
be on
it.
a bit. Yeah, I'm actually might not. No, I thought for sure Warhead was going to send it. Maybe Warhead is on a war path here, sees that something's going down, but yeah, they're going to respect it.
Fine.
I can respect that.
So Baron buff for nothing essentially, because Wonderworld doesn't die. He kills instead Blue Lake so easily, and I called the Baron buff being taken by the side of Monkeys, but I feel like there was I didn't take into account the poke potential from the Ezreal and the Belcast. This shouldn't be a problem, I think.
Yeah, nah. El Dragon just gonna pop that demolish on the turret real quick. Wonderworld trying his best to catch up to him with the Predator, the little man, but he runs so fast, dude. He's like a
just
little
zigzagging
slalom,
even.
dude. He's crazy. Yeah, like what is he up to?
Oh.
Oh, the solar flare is gonna go off. It's gonna go far. Unfortunately, nothing quite gonna come out of that. CT1 Lucifer chilling on the other side of that wall with not respectable. A little bit of ultimate coming out. True Shot Barrage not gonna find too much though. They might be looking for something. T1 Ultra actually sending it to the middle there. So tanky, but I don't think that's the move because your team just doesn't do enough damage. Blue Lake is incredibly low. It's rooted for 10,000 years. T1 Lucifer
Cannot
gets
kill
Best Buy support,
anyone.
but it doesn't matter because he goes down. That's a double kill. Disintegration
wait.
Ray, you damage though. That's gonna be
Oh, he
a
gets
nice
it.
little double kill. Gets two, not respectable. You should have respected him when you still had the chance, when you were still breathing. But
Respect
Warhead's
Warhead,
on his
though.
own little war path. He's like, respect? I don't know what that is. And he takes him out. They get the tier 2, looking to get the tier 3. Those death timers are incredibly long, and things are not looking good for Urgottem Reformed right now.
Yeah, we're reaching the point where the composition from the side of Monkeys doesn't have to fear that much the early stages, right? We're past mid-game where champions actually begin becoming really good, and the point where I was more scared never really mattered. The early game from the side of Urgottem really wasn't that strong apart from the bot lane, and it's just felt like Monkeys has the number on Urgottem. Even though their composition from Urgottem is not bad, like at each spot, Monkeys have felt like they know what they need to do better, and they have executed better into that. Oh,
Yeah.
Warhead?
Warhead
Yes, ultimate.
Yeah, as ultimate needs to be careful there. Balls lab there as well to provide some assistance if need be. But also just talking about Wonderworld as well, right? Let's see. He's
Yes,
got
please, feel free.
he's got almost 300 stacks as well. He's at 881 AP, so he's a monster right now to say the least. And I mean, we see it. Those primordial bursts are doing exactly as the name says, bursting some of these members out. We saw Blue Lake, especially during that Baron fight, just got absolutely deleted. And it's kind of sad to see that at this point, right? That Urgottem Reformed, they try their best, they get some nice
the hook.
engages, but the hook lands a very nice max range
really
and
nice.
not respectable. Goes down, that's huge. Ultra soon to follow as Call of the Fourth God is dropped. He's down for the count as well. Blue Lake needs a flash to get away from that hook. Best by support. Yeah, he got some
doesn't
support.
care.
Bro. Yeah, he fixed his hook because he's landed hook after hook out, but just as I said that he misses that. That's a little embarrassing, but oh well. Wonderworld looking to try and send it here, but a very nice arcane shift to get out of the Event Horizon. T1 he kind of ran into their faces there, gets primordially
Oh,
perked.
baited.
Down here, pops the Crescent Guard flash to get away, but will still go down. They will get the Vanguard, but
think this is it.
down to return, and that should be it, ladies and gentlemen. El Dragon, the last man standing, needs to defend the base. Ultra will be up in 7 seconds, but it might be too little, too late. The turret goes down. El Dragon about to go down, 2 to follow. Can they get him? They will not
not
indeed.
enough.
The disintegration rate comes out. Whole lot of damage. They get 1. Can they get 2 here? It doesn't matter though, because Warhead is here as well. Just hit the Nexus. Just focus the Nexus at this point,
Just
please.
hit
Also
it.
goes down 2. They get falls left though. Can they get Best Buy support? He's still trying to drink out this Nexus,
I think
but
they
it's not
win
gonna
this too.
hits the hook. They should win this. El Dragon trying his damnedest, and
Yeah,
that
she's
should
fine,
be
okay.
it. You can take away their bans, you can take away their wins. It doesn't matter. Monkeys, they come back once again. They come back stronger. They win game number 3, and they're going to the playoffs.
Yeah, against essentially a lot because they had a 1-game deficit, no bans, playing with subs, and they just turned it around so well. Full credit to Monkeys. Even though I thought this game Urgottem could have potentially do it with the composition that they had, the way that Monkeys played really exemplifies how well they were coordinating with some of these things. And
Yeah.
to me, the player of the series played really, really well. Wonderworld, so well executed his two games, showing how the Baker can get so much value, doing so much for the team, blowing up champions that thought that maybe he could kill instead, and doing so much. Like I really cannot express how well Wonderworld played this series for me because in the Victor game, controlled the mid lane so effectively, and in this
Mm.
game got so much picks to show the potential of the Baker as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As well, War. I think we also have to talk about Warhead as well. That
Yeah,
descend, the
true.
dragon descending, it was so huge. So many times we saw it being utilized so perfectly, whether it was to push it into Wonderworld's event horizon or to just push someone from the side of Urgottem Reformed into a terrible position, and they're able to just capitalize on that. And speaking of putting in terrible positions, Best Buy support as well. Not a single kill on the board. This man was the martyr of monkeys, right? He's
Yeah.
throwing out these hooks. He's got that magnetic little like dredge line as he sends it out, and he just forces the side of Urgottem Reform to go into these terrible positions when one of them gets hooked out. Most of the time, Best Buy support unfortunately dies at the end, but I mean, it was invaluable to his team, to say the least.
Yeah, like even though his hooks most of the time didn't hit priority targets, we saw two really important spots where his hooks did hit priority targets. In the dragon fight, I think around the 20-minute mark or a
Mm,
little before that, he hits the Balkas, forces so
yeah,
much
that
out of
was
them,
huge.
and sets for the team. Yeah, so it's such a nice moment for Best Buy support. And then at the end of the game, flash hook to kill the Balkas just enables the team to just walk into the base and win at the end. So even though he didn't get the best of hooks all around the game, his value to the team was important because you do sometimes see this kind of supports where it's a sacrificial lamb for the
Yeah.
sake of the best of the team. And I feel like that's what we saw out of base by support.
Yeah, absolutely. Sir Grinds, just doing the usual ADC thing, got that
Yep.
kind of that lead at the start as well as he was able to pick up that kill in comparison to Blue Lake, who unfortunately didn't end up getting it because Ultra, that's we also see that's his one kill, right? That was that first
Yep.
blood that Ultra was able to pick up. But Sir Grinds at the end of the day, able to just grind it out, doing so much damage. But honestly, yeah, it's like you were saying, right? Wunda World, just an amazing performance. Game one, he was so commanding on that Victor, showing up how great of a matchup it was for him, and then just doing so much damage. Game two as well, Events Horizon were so perfectly, immaculately
Yep.
placed to just lock down these members of Urgottem Reformed, and ultimately it got them to win, to say the least.
Yep. Everything was so well executed by Wonderworld. I feel like his value to the team was so high that it's hard to not say that he
Yeah.
could potentially be the player of the series. Also, I want to apologize to Warhead because I didn't have enough faith in the
You
Shyvana.
doubter, you were a doubter.
Honestly, that was my only thing, my only thing to try and not think that monkeys could take it. But
Hmm.
it really showed the power from the Shyvana. She never really was punished for her early put in the early game, and after that, it was such a nice game by the Shyvana. So overall, nice game by the monkeys, nicely executed by Warhead. Wonderworld played immaculate, and congratulations to the monkeys. If I'm not wrong, they secured playoffs with this,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So
Yeah, I mean,
congratulations to them.
the monkeys have nerves of steel, to say the least. Things were looking terrible for those who joined a little bit later due to time constraints. They had to
Yeah.
forfeit their first game, and they lost 5 bans in game number two. They couldn't ban anyone, so like anything could happen, and they just it's so hard to explain if you had to be there, but they just
Yeah.
claw their way back. Things were looking bleak at the start, but then they're slowly able to turn around. Wunda World as well, he was spearheading the charge on that Victor, doing such a great job with the rest of his team. And then in this game as well, game three, things were looking good for them from the start. I mean, back to back to back, great kills, great executions. They do an amazing job. They move on to playoffs respectively, and I'm only interested to see how they progress going forward, to say the least.
Yeah, especially if they have their actual roster, right? So
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
hopefully that works even better.
at this point, you might have to just make this a roster. They played so well together. Like,
Potentially, who knows? We
yeah,
don't go into those decisions, but hey, if it works out, maybe you should keep it. Just saying.
yeah. If you want me to coach you as well, despite casting, hey, I'll do it. I'll take it, bro. Just hit me up.
We're
But
about to be the substitutes ourselves.
exactly. That being said, right now I'm so happy. Like we were making jokes, like, yeah, caster substitute. Thank God that didn't happen because I don't think
Yeah,
I couldn't have played as well as Warhead in the jungle that he was doing. He was doing the Lord's work in there. But That being said, like we are saying, for there to be winners, there have to be losers. And unfortunately, Urgottem Reform does take the L today. They still played their hearts out. They had some great plays, some great moments to say the least. Fall a little short, unfortunately, at the end of the day, but it is what it is. And that is the last game for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So if you stuck around through the entire thing, thank you so much. We hope that you enjoyed it. Tedious, I think I can speak for both of us that it was an amazing series to say the least.
Yep. Super fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, we are going to go ahead and sign off. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed your stay and class dismissed. I'll see you guys next week.